Hey, everybody. How you doing? I'm gonna sit up there, put this up here for some advertisement. Uh, Students of the week: Isaiah Gustav, sociology; Carter Startmeyer, ethnic studies; last week, Gage Goldberg, real estate; Cole Mathis, exploratory studies; 2 weeks ago, Malachi Murphy, integrative physiology. I started to say psychology, but that don't make sense. Physiology. And Zach Owen, sociology. Amen. Alamo Bowl, CU's 31st bowl game, but just our third in last 17 seasons, which is a wow. This is our fourth trip to the Alamo Bowl, which is awesome. Did a press conference for them last week. It was phenomenal. I'm thankful that we're chosen for the Alamo Bowl. I don't take this kind of stuff for granted, you know. It's a blessing, and we're in Texas, where it all started for me, coaching-wise, and to go to a bowl there is phenomenal. 9 wins, 7 conference wins. We had just second 9-win season in the last 22 seasons. 7 conference wins for the 8th time in CU history. Travis Hunter, he won everything but the Thorpe. That's what he said. I ain't say that. It's right here. He won everything but the darn Thorpe. Highest decorated non-quarterback in history. He could wind up as the most decorated player in a single season in college football history. The first team All-American at multiple positions. That is crazy to me. I mean, that is absurd. That is unbelievable. Shador won the Johnny Unitas Award, All-American Award, responsible for 82% of our offense. There's highest in FBS in the last 25 years, and still didn't get invited to the Heisman. Oh, I'm sorry. He didn't say that. That was me. Only quarterback this season, top 5 completion percentage, quarterback rating, passing yards, touchdowns, and completions per game. 17 buffs earned some mention of all Big 12 so far, which is wonderful. Glad to be back to playing football. Glad to be back. We never stop recruiting, so I haven't left doing that. We have some wonderful, phenomenal young men up here that we want to join this magnificent team. I think we've secured commitments from darn near everybody. They probably had not committed yet, but I know what I know. And they're going to help us in tremendous positions, and the quality of the young men we're getting are phenomenal. So I'm proud of the staff, the recruiting staff, Coach Ray and so forth, the coaching staff, and everybody's involved, and especially people in the city, because when these kids go out, they know what they're here for, and our Buff Nation is welcoming them with open arms, and it's a phenomenal thing. It really is. We're playing against a wonderful historical school, which offers a coach that I'm fond of, a man of God, which I adore. To flip it and turn it around and accomplish what they've accomplished this season is phenomenal, but I would expect that because that's who he is and that's the way he coaches. I consider him a friend. Can't wait to see him there. You know, it's a little more relaxed until we get close to game day. Then I start being ignorant as I am. But he's a good guy, has a great team, and I adore him. So I'm happy to be playing against this wonderful university. Let's go.
Nikki, go ahead.
Hey Coach, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm Nikki at Recruitment Sports Report. When we talked to Travis over the weekend, he was asked, when did you feel like you could secure the Heisman? You were in contention for the Heisman, and he said the Baylor game. As you're watching him, either throughout his career, throughout this season, when was one moment you were like, yeah, he can win the Heisman?
When I saw him practice his first day at Jackson State. That's when he went out there at receiver and did his thing, then went from playing receiver to defensive back and shut it down. I knew right then it was something special. It's one thing to watch highlights of a young man in high school, but it's another thing to see it in person. And when you know the game and when you know athleticism and when you know what I know and you come from where I come from, you know when you see something that's abnormal. And this kid from day one has been abnormal with a appetite for an appetite to dominate. He never relinquished that. He was banged up the first year over there, banged up a little bit the first year over here, but he just, once he's Travis, man. Ain't nobody like him. I don't think we'll ever see that in quite some time. I don't think we'll see it because most of our coaches in college football won't allow it because they can't fathom it. They can't fathom a kid that's able to do that. And they gotta do roster management of this guy crying, and you paying him a handsome salary in a collective or whatever they want to call it, NIL, which is not, it's collective. They're not going to allow it. I'll allow it because that's who he is. That's what he is. Why would I want to change a guy that gracefully selected us to coach him, and I knew what he had in him, and I've done it myself at the highest level. So I could see through the bushes in the fog, in the inner cities, in the suburbs. I could see through all that and understand what that young man is. And I allowed him to be unapologetically who he is.
Ronald Scholes from Rough Report. You talked about Coach Satake in your opening statement.
Yeah.
But there's some really explosive players on that BYU team. What
Yeah.
do you see when you watch them on tape?
I see a consistent team that can run the ball, they can throw the ball, they defend well. Discipline. I see a lot of discipline, a lot of young men that may not receive some of the accolades that they deserve, but they work their butts off and they do a wonderful job. So trust me, ain't nobody taking them light. They're not sneaking up on us. We know what they're coming with.
Adam, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. Hope you are well. Adam,
Yes, sir. Thank you, Adam.
Getting a chance to talk to you since the high school signing period.
Yes, sir.
So I wanted to ask you about Julian Lewis. Obviously, you guys made him a priority quarterback early in that class.
Mm-hmm.
What was it about him that very early on in your evaluations, the quarterbacks made him stand above the other guys?
I think smart coaches at this level understand what has worked for them, and they try their best to replicate that. Shador's worked really well for us. He has a wonderful father in his life. Father has always been there. Father that knows the game, and the father that's hands-on. I saw a lot of similarities in the way Julian's life has been structured. Speaking to his father a multitude of times, understanding how he came up, what he wants out of life, what he wants out of the game and from the game, and what he gives to the game. Some similarities are unbelievable. So you want someone of that nature. The kid that we got from Texas in the slot that's killing everybody. Jimmy Horn. That's Jimmy Horn. That's LeJounte. So you try to find those guys that have been good to your program and you identify them and you just try to your best to say, okay, I want the character of this, I want this and that, I want this and I'm not giving up on. I'm not saying that I'm going to accept that foolishness for that. I'm not doing that. I want what I want, and I'm going to get it. Or we'll go to the next kid. But that kid right there, man, he's everything that we desire in a quarterback. He's smart. He could make every throw. He has a pocket awareness, pocket presence. He is a darn leader. But most of all, he's a winner. People forget that category when you're looking at quarterbacks. Are they winners? We have one right now, and we got one coming in. And we got one on campus right now as well. They're winners. That's the intangible that you want. You don't want to get a guy that's got his butt kicked his whole life. What is that going to do? What is he going to say on a TV timeout to his team when he gets to a pivotal point in the game and he's always lost? I don't want that. Not at all. Not leading our team.
Go with that.
Hey, Coach.
How you doing, sir?
Nice to see you. James Franklin yesterday talked about the difficulties of planning for a game. And
Who is that?
James Franklin of Penn State.
Okay.
And just the difficulties of navigating a game and the transfer portal. How do you, with players entering it and all that, how do you plan for a game and the transfer portal?
What do you mean, this like a bowl game?
Yeah.
Transfer portal should be no surprise to you. You know you probably going to lose two guys you didn't expect, and you're probably going to gain several guys you didn't expect. But you got to have a board, and you got to do your study. You got to understand this is what's going to happen. And I'm prepared for that. I know this is going to happen. So I don't think the portal has ever been a surprise to us. Not at all. Even the bowl game, it's not a surprise. Like any of our guys that wanted to get in the portal, get in the portal. You're not going to come here and practice and eat and be merry and have a Merry Christmas with us and leave right after the game. I call that using somebody. You're not going to use us. No, I'm going to help you by all means. And I've helped several players get to other schools already along with the staff. But you're not going to participate with us and do all that, then leave. That's not fair to some of the other teammates that want to play and deserve to play. That's not fair to them. So I don't think it's difficult to navigate around the portal. I just think the portal is surprising some of these coaches that didn't understand what it was. I understood what it was day one, don't you think? From the way we attacked it, from the way, I know we got a lot of criticism for it, but we did this in Jackson. Not only that, I did this in youth. Like when I was coaching youth football, we started with nothing and it had to be something. We had to go get everybody at the portal from 5-year-old kids to 12-year-old kids, that mean from other teams. They had to come to our organization in the first trial. We had 1,500 kids at the first trial. And we selected them, talked to them, made sure they fit our structure. And we have several guys on the staff that was there during that time. So we've been doing this for a long time. It just didn't start at the collegiate level. This starts in high school. We was at a private school. Where you get private school kids from? Public schools. What is that? The portal. When you're a pro, you get, 7 draft picks, right? That's high school players. Then you go hit what? Free agency, which is the portal. That's the way we approached it from day one. But I was willing to look like a fool for a period of time, and I listened to y'all, I watched you. And we understood it, but, Noah looked like a fool too when he kept saying it's going to rain, right? When he was building the ark, until that rain came. Yeah, the rain coming now. The rain is coming now for everybody, right? Yeah, we good. We're in the ark now.
Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, Coach. Brian Alamo.
How you doing, sir?
How are you?
Good.
I have a couple for you real quick, but is there a challenge in kind of getting back into the groove of football after a couple weeks where maybe it's been off for a lot of guys?
No, it's really not. That depends on what type of team that you have. We have a multitude of young men that has desires to go pro. It can't be a challenge because this is last call for them. We have a bunch of young men that wants to establish themselves and beat out some of these guys that they know that we're attaining in the portal. And they want to put their footprint down going into the spring that, hey, man, this is my job. I should at least start first team. So it's very important, and we keep it important. So it's not just a bowl game where we're going to go be merry and have a Merry Christmas and exchange gifts and do all that. No, we want to go there and play buff football. And we got some guys that want to end on a great note. You think Travis want to go out there and get locked down with a Heisman at his house? You think Shador want to go out there and play that hot garbage when he's one of the premier guys and probably arguably the first pick of the whole draft? You think Jimmy Horn hadn't played in a couple weeks game-wise, don't want to go out there and put on? I mean, we got some wonderful young men with Chidozie. We got a lot of guys that want to ball out, and I can't wait to see them. I think we even had a fight at practice today. I don't recommend that, but I was proud of that.
And as a follow-up to that, you mentioned Jimmy. I want to ask you this break. How good was it for guys like Jimmy and Isaiah Augustin and guys like that want to get back? Do you feel like those guys want to be back?
Yeah. It hurts them not to play. Jimmy, I don't know if you know it, but Jimmy snuck out there the first play of the game, the last game we had. He wasn't supposed to be on the field, but he snuck out there and got the first play in. And guess what he did? I think he put a DB on his back. So that's the Jimmy Horn. Then we realized he snuck out there and we got him off the field so he wouldn't get injured. But that's the Jimmy Horn we know and love.
Go ahead.
Coach Leo Barrow, Scobo Sports. What aspect of the game do you feel your team has improved on the most from start until where we are now?
Well, just believing. Overall believability that what we possess inside our locker room is good enough to win. We just got to go there and do what we are capable of doing and not have any letdowns, but to play our games. Especially when we could run the football and give Shador the time that he needs to have a little more balance. It doesn't have to be 50-50. It could be 70-30. But when we run, we got to be successful with running the ball. And defensively, You know the formula. Stop the run, make them throw. That's who we are.
Go ahead.
Hey, Coach, Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow. Jack, let me tell you something, dog. Let me tell you something. One of my guys that's a good friend of mine watches the press conferences every week, and he said he got on me because he said, I couldn't believe you didn't know, what he was saying, Jack. Jack. But you got a fan base, dog. Yeah, you got a fan base. You got a fan base, man, and everybody wait for you to come in with that signature voice.
It's wild.
Yeah. So I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Am I following you yet?
On Twitter?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Sam, make sure you follow Jack, man.
Jack_CAR.
Jack_CAR, right? Carlo. Huh?
L-O-U-G-H.
Say?
CARLOUGH.
L-O-U-G-H. You got that, Sam? Everybody listening, you got that, right? Yeah. Don't think he don't understand how to get followers out. I got you. You can blow him up, please. Everybody follow. How many followers you got right now?
Like 1,000.
You got to. Hey, let's get him to
I'm not big
five.
on Twitter. I'm not a big Twitter guy.
Let's get him to $5,000 about it after this press conference. By the end of this day, let's get Jack to $5,000. All right? Put that out for me, Sam. Nearly put that out for me. At the end of the day, we need Jack at 5,000 followers. All right? Cool. All right, let's go.
Thank you, Coach.
Let's go.
You talked a little bit out of Jimmy Horn earlier, but how big is this Alamo game for guys who are trying to, give NFL scouts one final look?
It's huge. It's huge. LeJounte, Will, who else on the offensive side of the ball? Justin. I think that's it on the offensive side, right? On the defensive side, we have several young men. Even Gant. Gant is working his butt off to try to get in the rotation because we're a little light at linebacker right now. Although JB's back. God bless JB. Dog came in my office, and I know he didn't want to go nowhere. I said, man, what is wrong with you? And sometimes these young men are just confused, and they're hearing all the outside noise, and they think that's the best thing for them. And I always tell them, no, I don't recommend you jumping into the portal unless you know you probably going to have a home. And I saw something the other day about some quarterback. Was it the Texas guy? They said he had an offer for, what, $4 or $5 million? How you get an offer and you're not in the portal? How does that work? Because we don't do that. Like, how does that work? How you get an offer when you're not in the portal? So who does that? I'm happy for the kid. When I heard that, I wanted to see if Shador had any more eligibility. She can help old Pop out. I'm just joking. I'm sorry. What else, Jack?
Yeah, I think you answered just NFL guys.
Yeah. Well, those guys it's important for them, and it's important for us to highlight them and make sure they get the reps they need to showcase their talents. But they've had an entire season, but we want to make sure they go out right. We really do.
Couple more. Jason, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, good morning. Jason Jones, Sports Illustrated.
Yes, sir.
One of your more famous sound bites from last year, you better give me now,
Yeah.
is where you sit today, headed to a bowl game, could put Peggy on a plane, recruiting seems to be going very well. Is this just the plan executed on your behalf?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This was we've been in this situation, my man. When we were at Jackson, and I think in that spring we were 4-3, and just I think the only reason was the fourth game because they forfeited. Ain't nobody want to play, so I knew it then. We didn't have what we needed to be who we wanted to be, but I knew, like, you better get me down, because when we regroup and all these kids are eligible to play in the fall, we're going to be something special, and we end up winning the SWAC. And God bless Jackson State, TC, Ashley, all those people. They won the SWAC championship. Not SWAC championship. They won the whole Celebration Bowl. So that's awesome. Awesome. I love them. I appreciate them. They've taken it to yet another level, and that was the plan all along. Back to what you were saying. This has been the plan, but we're not satisfied, and we're not done. We're still on our way. We're still going. We're still coming. Like, we still got some things to do, some pieces of the puzzle to add. But it's much easier when you win. It's much easier. And then when we look at the games that we didn't come out on top, we got our butts kicked in Nebraska. We'll give them that. No, I ain't giving them nothing. They took it. But the other two, we had chances to win. We laid down like never before in Kansas, and we got our butts kicked. against Kansas State, I believe, because we had, I think, a plethora of receivers go down, right? And then we had the Heisman Trophy winner go down as well that game. So that disarmed us quite a bit. That's why you got to have depth, and that's something that we're trying to attain right now. A great question, my man.
Scott, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, Scott Proctor at DNVR. How you feeling?
Good, sir. Thank you. You really don't care. You just wanted to ask because he asked how I was feeling. You really don't care. When you looked at me, you didn't really look like you cared how I felt. It was just part of your conversations.
That sounds like an assumption. I always ask how you feeling.
I'm just messing with you, man.
I wanted to ask about something that you just alluded to in Jeremiah.
Mhm.
He withdrew from the portal.
Right.
Obviously going to be back to Colorado. I know you guys go way back. How excited are you? For
I'm
him to be
happy.
back in the fold?
Man, Jeremiah's like my kid, man. He's like my kid. You know, we played against him in high school. His head coach is one of my best friends, like a son to me, Corey Fuller. And Jeremiah took a chance on us, took a chance on me. And he came to Jackson, and he's always been a hard worker, always did his job, and always been just a good dude, a fisherman. We have an affection for that, which we share tremendously. And I was in Texas, you know, relaxing, praying, and trying, because I got to make some heavy decisions on kids and life and all of that. And when I saw that happen, I'm like, why didn't Jeremiah call me? He called me about everything else. He called me every time he catch a decent-sized fish, he want to call me. And he didn't call me for that. So I knew he was being influenced by something else. So when I got back, you know, he came to the office, and I was like, you changed. Ever since you got them pretty new teeth in your mouth, you changed. You're not the same kid. And that broke the ice, and he's like, Coach, you know I didn't want to go. I said, what we doing? What we doing? You know I love you. Boy, I love you too, Coach. And he started crying and boo-hooing, and we got it right. I don't know if it's an NCAA violation, but I gave him a fishing rod. It was laying around the office, so I really didn't give it to him. He picked it up and walked out with it. Right? It's not. He took it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, right. That's NIL. Okay. NIL. Collective deal. Yeah. Yeah. He got some appearances to do. He's watching 3 cars. Right? That's his appearances for that. But I'm so proud that he's back because I love him. He's like a son to me. So I'm glad we got that straight.
Last one, go ahead.
Coach Jeff from Night News. You had good experiences as a player in the bowl experience and for yourself in college. What do you remember about those moments, and how can you relate those moments to your team?
Great question.
To enjoy this time.
Great question. Great questions. The thing that I remember the most about a bowl is the stuff. Like we wanted to walk in the room, and on our bed they had a bag full of stuff, and we went through the stuff. I think it was a cassette player. You know, y'all too young for that. Y'all, you know, it's a cassette player with a little bitty headphones like that. You barely get over your ear. Just get over the little hole in your ear.
Walkman.
Yeah, Walkman. That's what they call it, the Walkman. We had some sweatsuits, and that we wore the color off those things. I remember those garnet sweatsuits. But I loved like that part, and it wasn't as intense as a game, but you had to win. You wanted to win. But just I can remember walking around New Orleans, man, you know, with my teammates. And seeing the stuff. I remember one of my teammates running in the hotel up the escalator with a briefcase. I'm pretty sure it stolen it. I'm pretty sure that happened. Like, man, what are you running up the escalator with a briefcase for? It don't look right. But that kid, he had that capability in him. He stole that briefcase. Just seeing that kind of stuff. I remember we played in Gator Bowl. And Jimmy Calloway, the JC that I wear on my shirt, the equipment man, he thought he was doing a brave thing and a valiant thing. And he said, all right, after the game, it's been raining and nasty. He said, everybody can keep their socks. Like, man, come on, man. Keep our socks. The socks are filthy. But that was JC, that was Calloway. And I love those moments. I never forgot those moments. But going to those several bowl games that we went to a bowl game every year. It was just a moment that we never forget. And I want to have those moments for our young men as well. I don't know the schedule yet, but I do know we flying in a heck of a plane on the way there. We created that moment that they'll never forget this plane that we're getting on. So I can't wait for them to see that. Great question, man.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you. God bless.
Thanks.